Nau mai hara mai ki kaupapa on the couch. He Māoritanga te kaupapa o te rānei. Many of us, when we give our pepeha, we talk about our waka. We acknowledge the vessel that brought our ancestors from Hawaiki here to Aotearoa. So for me, ko Ngāti Whātua o Kaipara te iwi, ko māhuhu ki te rangi te waka. There are more than 50 ancient waka recorded in different oral histories in Aotearoa. Some of them brought explorers and migrants, and some of them brought supplies and then went right back to Hawaiki. You can't find Hawaiki on a map, by the way. As a physical place, its location has been lost. Although it's thought that it could be an island or a group of islands where the language and traditions are a lot like ours, like the Cook Islands or Tahiti or Hawaii. Some ethnographers think that the Great Migration came from Southeast Asia, and some have made the argument for our ancestors coming all the way from India or even Mesopotamia. Does anyone know how to pronounce the name Mesopotamia? But just because we can't locate it on a map, it doesn't mean it's not real. And it's a spiritual place too. It's the source. It's where our babies come from, and it's where our spirits go when we die. Hawaiki nui, Hawaiki roa, Hawaiki pāmamao. The first explorer to reach Aotearoa from Hawaiki was Kupe. Legend tells us that 1,000 years ago, Kupe sailed here chasing a whike, a giant octopus. His wife, Kurumarotini, was worried for her husband and begged him to send his crew instead. But Kupe insisted that he must chase the whike. Worried that she would never see him again, Kurumarotini decided that she would go with him. And so Kupe, Kurumarotini, their 5 daughters and their crew set sail to face the dangers together. Of course, another story says that he sailed here with 300 of his people looking for a new country to start a new life. It's said when they got here, they startled a huge whike and they had to battle its many tentacles before they could land. Whatever the telling, Kupe was undoubtedly a badass ocean voyager who navigated safely all the way to Aotearoa using the ancient mātauranga of wayfinding. Sailing by the stars, the waves, the clouds, the sea life, and the mana of Tangaroa across Moana Nuia Kiwa to settle here in Aotearoa. And I guess he had a thing for octopuses. This is what we picture when we hear the word waka. Proud paddlers sitting in a row in a long single-hulled vessel. I've seen a waka, and you definitely couldn't sail overseas in something that small. There are many types of waka. Waka tete, which is sturdy for fishing. Waka tiwai, which is light and fast for rivers. The most commonly recognisable is probably waka tawa, the war vessel. But of course you couldn't voyage thousands of miles over rough seas in one of those. Our ancestors came here in one of these. A waka haurua, a double-hulled sailing vessel. The ancient art of building, sailing and navigating in waka haurua was lost to us here in Aotearoa for many years. Once settled, iwi would have no longer needed them for long voyages, so the waka were interred, returned back to Papatuanuku. So how did we get that knowledge back? Thanks to the collective sharing of knowledge from other masters of wayfinding from other Polynesian countries, reminding us of our shared whakapapa and the links and the oceans that connect us all. The man that went searching for that knowledge is Heki Nuku Mai Ngāi Wi Busby, otherwise known as Hek. Hek revitalised the practice of Māori ocean voyaging after being inspired by the Hokulea, a replica of a Hawaiian ocean voyaging waka that visited Aotearoa in 1985. A master builder and craftsman, Hek soon began work building his own waka haurua using kauri felled in the Hirakino forest, with the appropriate karakia te tāne mahuta, of course, which he named Te Aurere, after the place that it was built in the far north. Under the tutelage of Maupiailug from the Caroline Islands, who learned the ways from his grandfather, and Nainoa Thompson, the Hokulea navigator from Hawaii, Hek and his crew set out on their maiden voyage in 1992 to Rarotonga, sailing exactly the way that their ancestors did. No sat-nav. After a very successful first voyage, in 1995 they sailed to Raiatea in Tahiti, and years later in 2012 they achieved Hek's dream of completing the Polynesian Triangle, the 3 furthest points of Polynesia, by sailing to Rapa Nui, Easter Island. Thanks to Mo passing down his knowledge to all of the crew on that first voyage, instead of just one apprentice, as tradition dictates, Hek and the crew of Te Aorere have now passed their knowledge on to many more people, and the number of people learning celestial navigation and wayfinding is growing every year. If you're interested in learning more about Waka, you're in luck. It's Waka season, baby! In late February, during the New Zealand Festival, Master Wayfinder Huturoa Barclay Kerr and the Haunui Waka will be leading the biggest Waka flotilla to hit our shores since Kupe. From Auckland to Wellington, with voyages from all over the Pacific. Who's really amped to get on a Waka now? Comment below. Ka kite au kia koutou katoa a tērā marama. I'll see you next month for another episode of Kaupapa on the Couch.